Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome to episode 14 of Cineverm. This weekend we watched
Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel.
This is the spoiler discussion, so if you haven't seen the movie, check our review, go watch the movie, then check back at our spoilers to get the full description.
Wait, so this is just a review?
This is the spoilers. I just said check the review if you haven't seen the movie yet, because you don't want to be spoiled.
Okay, got it.
There's a lot of twisty twists. So, Che, what do you want to start with? How do you want to start this epic discussion?
Can we start off with the first twist?
Yes, what is the first twist?
In my opinion, the first twist was that, what was it? That Fury knew about her from the beginning.
Wait, he knew about her from the beginning?
Yeah.
How?
Like, he met her before he met any other superhero, is what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
So imagine when he met any of the other superheroes, he probably wasn't really impressed because he met the most powerful superhero first.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's what I think.
Well, if you think back at all the movies, he's never that shocked at anything.
Oh, yeah. It's like I've seen the best.
Yeah.
That's really cool I never realized that he had a patch on his eye until this movie. And I was like, whoa, oh yeah, why? Why does he have a patch on his eye? And then it's because of the kitty.
Yeah.
He's like, I forgot what the alien name was for the cat, but it was so funny to me when they scanned the cat and they're like, race, and then it said their race, and then danger, high level danger, some shit like that, and then it went to Fury and it was like male human,
little to no danger.
Yeah, danger. And then Fury was like, but it's just a cat, you know. And then when the cat's tentacles came out of its mouth, I was so shocked.
Oh, it was so disgusting.
It was like slimy and stuff.
Yeah.
The thing that made me the most concerned was that we have a lot of cats. And I've never been scared of cats before, even when they scratch my hands and stuff, which is sensitive. But seeing that cat open its mouth and tentacles come out and eat people alive was like, whoa. And where does all that meat go?
The way its mouth opened. Like, I wasn't expecting it to show the shot for so long. Yes. Like, you could actually see how its head was bent backwards and it had like this flap of flesh. And then the tentacles were like... And then it would like wrap all the way back in. I was like, oh, what the fuck? And then it was funny because half of the audience started laughing. And I was just grossed out. So I was like, I wonder if the other half are grossed out like me right now. No wonder that, what are the green people called?
I'm not sure. But they were all highly concerned.
Yeah.
They were like, didn't want to touch it. They didn't want to feel like its head was turning towards them. They were actually legitly scared. And then you have Fury over here. Multiple scenes. He's petting the cat. He's basically... doing lovey-dovey voices to him, like, oh, you innocent little thing. Yeah. Until that scene happens, he's like, oh, well,
yeah, no,
let me just stay on your good side.
Oh, he's like, I gotta keep loving on you now. I wonder what happened to the cat, because it's not in any of the other movies. Maybe they'll bring it back.
Oh, yeah.
Or
maybe it stayed on this ship.
Old age.
Oh, no, it didn't stay on the ship. It was with Fury. What if you look back at his new apartment or whatever, and there's a picture of the cat in the back? That would be
hilarious. Yeah. I really love how they kind of played with the idea of making his eye, like the first scene in the movie, the first big chase scene or whatever, he gets a car wreck, and he comes out and his eye's all bloody. I was like, oh, that's how he loses his eye. And then he's like, no, it's good. And then there's another part where he gets like beat up and his eye's bloody. I'm like, oh, now it's gone. And then no, it's like freaking cat scratched the hell out of his eye.
I can't believe he tried to push it to the side like, oh, it's just a scratch. I know, bro. That nail probably went all the way into his socket and popped his eye.
That must, yeah. And then I love how they showed the reaction of the other green guy, and he was like, "Oh, fuck, dude, you fucked up." It's like when you're playing like some game with friends, and then you fall and your leg hurts, and you're like, "Oh, I'm good," and then you ask your friends, "How is it looking?" And they're like, "Oh shit, your foot is twisted backwards right now."
Like, don't be scared, but you look crazy right now.
You might need surgery.
Aw. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but that was really cool. But I don't know how you didn't notice that, because in almost all the movies they make a joke out of it.
Out of what? The
that
cat?
He doesn't have an eye.
Oh.
Like literally the first Avengers movie, Tony Stark pulls up and they're in their like space command thing or the spaceship.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's not there, and then Tony Stark's like, "Damn, he must turn so much to look at all these monitors."
Well, I think it's because he doesn't make a big deal out of it, out of the jokes. Yeah. So it kind of just went over my head. I like how in the beginning they gave Stan Lee a shout out. It was like multiple scenes where he showed up in different movies. Yeah. It was so awesome. Yeah. Everyone in the theater started clapping.
Yeah, this is the first movie that's came out since, well, the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse came out after his death too, but this is the first Marvel Studio movie, so it seemed like a very important tribute, especially for them, you know. Yeah. And that was really cool. And then I love how in the normal scene, the characters they're like throwing a shield, and it has like Thor with the hammer, and then Iron Man with his beam, and then the Hulk, and they drew Stan Lee versions. Yes. So Stan Lee throwing the shield and doing everything. That was really cool. Yeah. It was a perfect intro to the movie.
Yeah. You know what's weird? How in this movie they're playing around with the idea of what would happen if we got so advanced and for some reason, well, our technology got so advanced, right? And we eventually found new worlds. How would we cope with that, right? And would our beliefs that we know now stand once we know new information? I don't know, but there's a really cool thing in addition to that. If we are not just exterminated, I think we would probably be controlled by what we would eventually adopt as a new god, which is how in this movie it was like whatever person made the most impression or whoever means to you the most shows up to you in a apparition, and then you talk to them, and then they're like, basically controlling you, kind of like that.
Yeah, that was a very interesting part of the film that I never saw in the other Marvel movies, and I still don't really understand fully what it was, because it was an AI, right? And then the whatever stuff that they would put on you to like bolt you down would just get into your mind, and then the AI would be present.
Do you think Thanos is controlled by this AI?
No.
You don't?
No. But it was just like I didn't really understand. I don't know. It was just kind of confusing to me. Just the whole. So they all follow this AI, and then the AI acts like a hive mind, I guess. So it tells everyone what to do. But it's just, I don't know. It's just really weird. I don't know. I just don't understand it. Maybe in the next movie, Captain Marvel movie, they'll explain it more. But I don't know. Or how did you feel about it? Like, did it confuse you, or it didn't bother you at all?
Well, it did bother me because I didn't understand how it could control people psychologically when the people that are supposedly its warriors aren't psychologically manipulated. Like they train to not be manipulated psychologically. So how else would it do it? It's not through that device, because it doesn't seem like it would kill them if it shocks them, or like it explodes their head, or...
Yeah, and then it didn't make sense because it didn't communicate with you unless it was connected to you.
Oh, through those vein things?
Yeah, which seemed very worthless, because at any time anyone can just do whatever if you're not connected through the veins.
Well, but maybe it sees everything.
Yeah, but...
It's like an all-seeing thing.
For an AI, though, it seemed very stupid.
How?
Well, I don't know, like all the interactions it was having with her, and it was like riling her up. I mean, wouldn't an AI that's so intelligent more intelligent than a human be able to predict, hey, if I rile her up, she might become to an emotionally unstable point to where maybe her powers would overcome me. So why would I rile her up? Like, wouldn't I try to comfort her and, like, reverse psychology type shit? Like, 'cause psychologists can fucking go into someone's head and, like, fuck them up,
But is it an AI?
Yeah, it was an AI.
How do you know?
Because
it AI?
Yeah, in the beginning it was a little tag that said AI.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Like the idea of it looking like whoever you love most is smart for the AI.
Mm-hmm.
So it's playing on your emotions.
Mm-hmm.
But then in the end scene, it's like, you're nothing without us. Like, why would an AI taunt someone?
Yeah.
When it knows it's powerful? Like, shouldn't have just, like, I feel like instead of taunting her and you can't do it, because that's just empowering her.
Mm-hmm.
It should have been like a more give up.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it would have played a lot better and it would have made more sense.
Honestly, I feel like the AI would do more of how in the situation of her and her trainer coach, when he put his weapon down, it was like, I'm proud of you. And he was trying to fight her like mano a mano, but then she just blasted him. I think that's what a smart, let me put that in quotes, like a smart AI would do, like he would just end it. What is the point of keeping her alive when you already know that she's bound? She already isn't for your cause. So she's gonna keep rebelling, and she's going to help a race that you've been trying to exterminate for years. So why wouldn't you just get rid of her? I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of parts that are explained in the comics.
Yeah.
Is there a comic for this?
Oh, yeah, but I don't know anything about it.
Oh, yeah, me
And
either.
it probably doesn't follow it verbatim, maybe just the general concepts and stuff. Because What's-His-Face was saying it was a love story, and she wasn't even in love with anyone.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think was good.
Well, there's different versions of all of the heroes, right?
Yeah. But that part was confusing to me. The whole, like, chip in the back of her neck thing, like, I get why they had it, but it never stopped her from using her powers. Because in the first fight he was all like, you need to control your emotions or whatever, and then she blasts him. So if they could actually control the chip, why would it allow her to blast him?
Well, I think the chip was kind of
the AI thing.
No, kind of like sedating her powers to where it was only half charge of her powers. Because after she took it off, didn't she, like, she could fly?
Oh, yeah.
She glowed.
Yep.
Her mohawk was on fire.
Yeah. Her hair was floaty.
Her hair turned blonde. She blasted through the tentacles like, ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Well, let's talk about her powers. We're already at her powers. So,
her powers?
Yeah. What did you think about her powers?
Her powers were so amazing. I didn't think you could top... Okay, because for some reason, I keep thinking Superman is, like, the most powerful. And then I was like, how could you top Superman, you know? And then, because Superman flies, right? She can do that equally. She does everything equally to Superman, but it's not until you show her literally breaking through a titanium ship, like in half a second, that you realize, whoa, she's not just strong, she's beyond strong. And she cannot just go up in space, but she can survive in space. Just with her helmet. I don't know if that's like the technology or whatever. Yeah. But I thought it was so impressive, showing kind of for some reason it felt like you have someone who's starting gymnastics, and then that person is watching a video of the top player, and then the newbie looks at it and it's like, whoa, that is so easy, I can do that. And then they try it and they fail miserably. You know, that's the level that she was at the top champion level, that everything was so easy. But when you pull yourself back and think about really the distance between A to B, it's like, shit, she's so ahead.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm very excited. That's what got me the most excited. And my favorite part of the movie was just how her powers looked, too. Like she looked like a freaking Dragon Ball Z character.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
I was watching I forgot what it was, what it's called technically, but on YouTube there's a video of demons, and the way you see their powers in this show is that you can literally see their powers. Like their auras around them.
Yeah.
And they're the color of whatever demon they are. And I was so impressed by how it was kind of that concept, but in this movie, it turned into, instead of just an aura, it was basically light. And it reflected off of everything. And it was huge. And when it was the most powerful that she was, it was brighter, but closer to her body. Yeah. You know, it wasn't just like super big, like she turned into the sun, over exaggerated. And I really liked that, because in the show that I was watching, their auras just get like ridiculously huge.
Yeah.
It's like, that really does not look comfortable at all.
Yeah. I love how you're saying the aura around her. That final scene where she's like this or whatever, and she's standing or she's hovering in front of the other spaceship, and then she's like super bright sun, and then you have like circles around her of like energy, but they're kind of transparent.
Yeah.
I don't know. That looks so fucking boss. I was like, oh my gosh, she's a god.
Yeah.
And then like how she looks when she's flying, she looks like a comet.
Oh, yes.
And then just when she's in like full power mode, I don't know, the CGI on it looks really amazing.
The only thing she can't do is lasers.
Or she blasts.
I mean, from her eyes.
Oh, well, that's just Superman.
But that's Superman. Fuck it, she has her hands.
But her eyes do glow.
Yeah, I was gonna say, they do glow. They look so scary.
I don't know, I'm just so excited to see a scene with her full power glowing. And then, you know, remember the last, even in Infinity War, but especially in the last Thor movie, when he went full power, there's electricity just like going from different parts of his body. Both of them fighting together is gonna look so fucking bomb.
They don't fight against each other, right?
I don't know. That's what I was reading I was reading like the credit scenes or whatever. So obviously this is spoiler, so if you didn't stay after the movie, there is a post-credit scene where it starts right after Infinity War, where they're looking at Nick Fury's pager.
Yes.
And then Captain Marvel shows up, and then they're all like, and then she's like, where's Fury? Yeah. So if you remember all the other Avenger movies, every time they meet, there's the miscommunication. Of where you know, like, you remember the first Avengers movie, Iron Man or Thor shows up and he's like, give me my brother, and then Iron Man's like, no. And then they start beating and then Captain America joins up. You know, if you look at how each Marvel movie has, when they meet another character, their immediate reaction is fight for some reason, just because they be flexing on each other.
Well, they don't really know each other that.
Yeah, and you wouldn't trust someone that powerful, you know? Yeah. And then she just shows up in their base, and where's Fury? I don't know. A lot of people in the article, well, the person in the article was like, betting my money, it's gonna be a fight. It's like, we all know they love making superheroes fight against each other. That would be the perfect introduction for them to be like, she's with us because she kicks all of our ass. So we can't be against her. And then, you know, I don't know. I think that would be so dope because Thor's there. He's alive. You didn't see Thor, but he should be there because everyone else is there. So that would be so dope if it's like, I don't know. I just imagine someone's going to throw a punch or whatever, because she might get emotional, because if they say, well, he's dead, and then it could be like, who killed him or whatever, you know. Yeah, because she really did grow to like him through this movie. Oh, yes. And she seems like she takes death very harsh. Yeah, because so far no one has really died under her. Spider-Man died. No, under her protection. Like, we haven't seen her face someone she cares about dying, like a failure. Yeah. Like, I wasn't here because he called me, and why did it take her so long?
Well, he called her the second before he was evaporated.
Yeah, but
I don't think galaxy travel is that fast.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, like, how many times was he like, is this the moment where I call her?
Oh,
Like, all the Marvel movies, shit hits the fan. Iron Man 1, shit's hitting the fan. Iron Man 2, shit's hitting the fan. Iron Man 3,
Loki's
Thor
just
2,
everywhere.
Thor 3. I mean, it somehow, all of the movies, the world is about to die. I just imagine him, like, rocking in a chair, and he's just like... Is this the moment where I click this button? Because she would just kick everyone's ass right now. Yeah. Within seconds. Like, I don't even have to deal with Captain America and Iron Man hating each other, getting in fights.
That's actually a really good question.
That would be a funny scene. If they wanted to add a scene, that would be a funny montage. Like
deleted footage.
Yeah. Well, even if they just added it, like a montage of each of the big movie parts where the city's being destroyed, and then he's like, nah, I think they got it.
Wow. I think this one was equal to her. Because it's like half of every single population is gone.
Well, she must know what happens already.
Oh, yeah, because half of her whatever saving race.
She must have seen that green guy she was trying to save in a planet. They all probably died.
All of them?
Well, half of them.
Oh, yeah, for sure, half of them.
That must be sad.
Yeah. Just imagine you're like, oh my gosh, I need to find a planet for my family or just my people. And then from one day to another, all the planets are available. Like, I can't find an apartment. Oh shit! Every apartment's available. Yeah. To bring it down, and it's obviously more serious because it's death.
Yeah. I just can't wait for Endgame. But first, let's talk about this movie. What did you think? All right, so I already talked about some of the confusing parts. I want to talk about the stuff I didn't like. So all Marvel movies besides, I can count them on my hand basically. Thor Ragnarok, Captain America Winter Soldier, Captain America Civil War, Avengers Infinity War.
Oh, their backstory?
No. Oh. Those 4, I'm trying to think if there's another one. Off the top of my... No, I didn't like that one. Those 4 that I just named are the only ones that do action right. Like, action scenes that do something for me.
Oh, you didn't like the action scenes?
I mean, I liked the parts where she was full power and she was busting through ships and stuff. But that's easy because it's just CGI. But what I'm talking about specifically is all the fighting scenes where you can tell they had her, the stunt people, or like whatever. Just it's not even the choreography; it's the direction of it. Like that first fight scene we see with her fighting her boss or whatever.
Yeah, her coach or something.
Yeah, that was such a terrible introduction fight. Like, wasn't it like just the way it was shot? It was like close-ups. I did not understand what was happening. Like, I didn't understand the geography of their body or the movement. I didn't understand any of it.
What I didn't understand is why she was leaving a lot of her body exposed during the fight, because me and Jack wrestle, and then it's obvious when you fucked up, and she kept doing the same thing over and over. Like, he kept getting her because she basically showed him her back. It's like, oh, arm bar, bam, and then another arm bar. It's like, really? I'm pretty sure it's been 6 years of training, but he still gets you an arm bar, What's going on? It was
that, as soon as I saw that scene, I was like, damn, man, like, why? Like, I don't know, they just need to put all the Marvel directors through a training course, 6-week action directing training course. And they already have the directors who did Infinity War, Endgame, and Winter Soldier. They know how to do action. Just have them teach the fucking course. It's very simple. I mean, because they have people who do choreography well. I know for a fact that's not the people doing the stunts or the martial artists who are performing. Because I know their game to make something that looks badass. Like, that's their passion. I know their fucking game. It's just, for some reason, some filmmakers don't trust them, or I don't know what it is, but they want to make something look better than it is in reality, You know, it's like we watched that video about mountain climbers, and then there was the films that shot it really close, and it's like, and then he's like hanging and swinging.
Oh, yeah.
And it looks fake. Like, you can tell when someone's manufacturing something, and then...
Oh, because they're trying to manufacture the sense of urgency.
Yeah, but just show a good fight, and people will feel it naturally, because it's talent. You know, you're seeing someone perform a form of art, martial arts.
I agree with that.
I mean, like, you look at any Jackie Chan movie, I feel so much fucking tension from that, and it's all wide shots. I'm not saying it all has to be wide shots, but at least give some room to breathe. Like, let them do their job.
All right, this might be a little off topic, but the way they show MMA fights isn't close-ups. They show you a little further back so you get the whole movement.
Yeah. Yeah, you're like, I don't know. There's a way where you show... I feel like maybe we should make a course on this. Maybe I can make a film essay. You know how they do, like, Nerd Writer and all those dudes? I feel like you could break this down into a simple structure and teach it for only $9.97. And it would be... And I could sell it to Hollywood directors.
$9.
And they just follow the step-by-step plan.
97 cents.
You know, left, right. You have your... bad guy on the left, good guy on the right, confrontation. All right. You obviously you have your martial art coordinator, your stunt coordinator. They're gonna come up with the fight scene. This is just the course is just about how you're gonna shoot it. Start with a close up on both faces. Show their emotion. Wide shot. Show them moving towards each other. You know, maybe if you want to spruce it up, show some close ups of their fists or their feet, kind of anticipating that they're gonna punch. And then you always snap back, show the punch. And if you want to go in, you can show the reaction of the punch. But the thing that, like, I feel like a lot of, especially the Marvel directors, almost all action movies from America are like this. They cut as soon as the impact happens. You've seen the Jackie Chan film essay. You have to show it happening, and then you show the consequence of each movement. It's not cut. They cut before it even impacts. They cut to an impact, and then they're cutting to the next punch.
Oh.
Instead of you seeing it through completion, you know?
It's like a glitch is happening.
Yeah.
Between drawback and full extension of the face.
Because they're trying to make it faster, and they're trying to make it have more impact. Like Guardians of the Galaxy, I think that's one of the scenes that he talks about in the Jackie Chan one. There's a fight scene in Guardians of the Galaxy where someone kicks. I think it's Gamora. She does a backflip kick. You see her start to do a backflip. It cuts to the other person's face. You see a leg about to hit her face. It cuts to another shot. And then she's going like this. And then you see a shot of her landing. But you never see... Like, it makes no fucking sense.
Oh, you never see her kicking the person's face?
No, you see the beginning of a backflip. You see the person's face and then a leg about to hit their face. And
so
then
they never show her hit that person's face.
And then you show her, the person getting supposedly hit, falling back.
Oh.
And then you show the person landing. So you're missing like 60% of the event. And now you have 4 fucking cuts. And that's what this movie did. Every fight scene that was hand to hand was awful. Just completely awful. But I say it's awful, but at the same time, that's the norm. But I still feel like it should be known that this is awful and it should stop. And people should complain about it.
People should complain about
it. Yeah, you know, it'd be like having a costume designer and then you never show a full costume. Like, imagine The Favorite and all the shots of everyone in their wardrobe is close-ups. Like, someone works so hard to make this costume. Or imagine the sets. Someone makes this big house, and then all the shots inside the house are close-ups. And you never get to see the house. You never have a establishing shot of the house. It's like, you have so much talent at your disposal. Like, give them, like, trust them to do something that has, what was the word?
Substance.
Yeah, well, something that is going to have an impact. Trust them, and you shoot it wide. And then you get your close-ups for safety, and then you let your editor do his job, and then you go back, and then you can finalize it. But, yeah, so that's a big complaint that I have almost with all modern action movies, though. So it's not, I don't know. I just wish more people complained about it and maybe it would change. Because I feel like people have just accepted it. And that's very disappointing to me because people work so hard. And there's so much talent that's being wasted, in my opinion.
But isn't that a style? Like, that's the style that they're going for.
I don't know.
What is the rating in this movie?
PG-13. It is a style, but I don't feel...
But you don't like the style.
It's not effective. I guarantee you it's not effective. I feel like if you were to... Like, I would love to have, like, a case study and show the same fight scene directed in this style, the typical Hollywood style, and then another one directed in a more wide style, you know?
Like John Wick?
Yeah. And see which, and connect heart monitors to everyone, and see which one produces more of a effect. And I would bet so much money that the other one, the John Wick style, would win.
Oh, I agree 100%.
Because there's just something like very tangible when you see someone perform something that looks impossible or that looks impressive. You know, when you watch an Olympian sport or an Olympian athlete perform something, even if you don't even understand what they're doing, you do get a sensation of, whoa. Like it is, I don't know, I feel like just a human thing that we understand when someone pushes themselves. You know, you see someone do 5 push-ups and you've never seen them do a push-up before and they're struggling.
But
you're like
pulling 5 push-ups.
Yeah, and you do get some sensation out of it.
Yes.
I don't know, that's probably a bad metaphor, but you know.
Like a indirect accomplishment.
Yeah.
I think, at least for me, that's kind of the feeling that I get when someone does backstory very well and it shows growth. It kind of feels like I went through that journey. And at the end, well, if they do it well, I feel like I accomplished what they accomplished. Yeah. At least for her, it was really cool how they showed how through her whole life, she was basically feeling like she wasn't good enough. Yeah. And finally, I think close to the end, they showed the part that she was missing, which was how she kept getting up after failing. Yeah. And it was a common trend throughout her whole life, which is why she is who she is at that moment. And that's one of the good examples of when they do it well, in my example. Oh, yeah. And I felt empowered by that. And I started remembering times that I did that in my life and times that I didn't do that in my life. And it made me feel like I will keep doing it, you know? Like it's worthy to remember what you did afterwards. Yeah.
And that is, oh yeah, that scene, that was like one of the most beautiful scenes of the movie. Yeah. That actually had way more of an emotional impact on me than I was even imagining. And then they show it in the trailer, half of it, right? But the way it plays out, because in the beginning of the movie, you see a lot of the flashes. But like you're saying, you see her falling, constantly fucking something up. She pushes herself too hard, and she takes too many risks, basically. And everyone sees her as like, you're just dumb. You need to stop, and all this stuff.
You're gonna kill yourself.
Yeah, and all her teammates are reinforcing that same idea. I feel like they could have pushed a little harder in that section with the team dynamic, but still, the memory stuff is so perfect. And then finally, at the end, you see her standing up each time. Yeah. And I love the cinematography of all those shots, and I love how they are all perfectly centered. Every time she stood up, it was almost like match cuts, but they weren't trying to make it match cuts. They just centered it, and then she stood up in the same way every single time, which was not anger or like defeat, but just resistance. Yeah. Like, I will keep fucking going. Yeah. Like, you could see it in her eyes too. And she stood up in a way that wasn't like, I don't know, I like, it was just such a powerful way that the way she performed it and the way it was shot. It was like very low angles, so she felt like she was just getting bigger, because every shot when she was falling, it was always from above. You saw her crash from above, you saw her fall from the rope, and it was still above her, and it made her look small. And then I love how they reversed it to make her seem bigger. Yeah. And you could really feel the emotion of it.
The only other time that I've ever seen them use a concept where they showed a struggle and they eventually came back to it to show the immediate part of the memory afterwards that happened, which was, I don't know, the redemption, I guess, was in Inside Out, where the little girl was going through her bad memories and she forgot about what happened afterwards, where I guess something was resolved. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, I got the same feeling from that little Inside Out scene than in this one. It's just with this one they did multiple ones.
Oh yeah, and I just love the editing of it too. Editing of it was so fucking smooth. Like, oh my god, like I was like, damn, I would have tried to make it too much of a match cut, and it made me realize that maybe having too much of a like, I was picturing it as very perfectly a match cut, like getting it to the line of like clothing or whatever, and I'm like, wow, that would have made it so much less if I would have done that, and seeing them kind of not go for like a frame by frame match made it so much powerful because it was different situations each time. So it doesn't make sense that it would be a match cut. So it made me learn that because I have this like fascination with match cuts. I'm like, oh wow, I need to not just put them in because I enjoy them and like, oh, it kind of matches, but it doesn't really match unless it is an exact match.
Yeah.
So I learned something from this movie, and that's really exciting. But it is very interesting because I mean, I know I deal with it. I look back at past memories where I failed, and it is very true that you don't really think about what you did after you fail, and you just think about the immense amount of pain. And then again, I don't think they pushed it that hard in the film with the squad members. They did, but I wish they would have pushed it a little more and in a more serious way. The idea of it's also the people around you convincing you that you failed and that you need to control yourself. And that is such a cool element. And then it's kind of like a metaphor when she breaks free. She's like, now I know, like, the fact that I'm here struggling still is because I kept getting up. And I think that's really awesome. Just the whole theme of it.
Oh yeah.
And I love how unique of a character she is. You know, like all the other Marvel characters, everyone has their quirks. You know, Iron Man is a very specific person. Captain America is a very specific person. Thor, the Hulk, Black Widow, and they're all very fascinating characters. But a lot of the newer characters, I don't feel the amount of specificity that Captain Marvel has, which is like a very, like, you know what kind of person they are. For example, Ant-Man, I think those are the worst Marvel movies because I don't understand his character. Like who is he as a person? If you really try to think about him as a person, there is nothing there but a funny person. And like, yeah, he's trying to help his daughter, but there is not a true defining quality to him.
Yeah.
He's your everyman thing. And a little bit Spider-Man as well. I mean, I feel like maybe in the next movie we can learn more about his character because he is still young. The Doctor Strange, same thing. I don't really understand who he is as a character.
Yeah.
A lot of the Guardians of the Galaxy, well, they're a little better. They all have their own qualities, but for some reason, her persona, her personality, is like stands toe to toe with Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, and the Hulk in my perspective now. And it's impressive to me because all those people had 5-6 movies to build those qualities, and in this one movie, they hit that idea of her trying to grow so hard that I understand who she is. Where all the other movies, it might have took a couple movies. For example, Thor, it wasn't until the third movie that he truly became a character for me.
Do you think it's because for her they showed you directly moments in her past that where she was failing, so it kind of gave her more of a relatable / human aspect to her? When Thor was just like, he's the god of thunder. It wasn't until, at least for me, the third one he was like Thor, you know, like,
facing consequence. Yeah.
Well, not consequence. Like, if you boil him down to a name, and like he was Thor, it's like, oh, you're Anthony. You know, you're not Anthony, the god of Cineverm.
Yeah.
You're just Anthony. That's what I was trying to say.
No, yeah. No, and but that's the thing. I feel like that's just up to the writer, because they all have.
Ooh. Or the other example was like how you were saying, Captain America.
Oh man, like
he struggled every single time. You saw him getting beat down. You saw him get back up. And on top of that, which is the other aspect, is he was willing to give his life even to those people that beat him down. Yeah. And she did the same thing too. Yeah. Like, she basically was being beat down by every single human that she was trying to connect with, except her best friend, or any group that she was trying to get into, which she thought, this is where I want to be. Every single person was like, you can't do it, blah 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 blah, and she was still willing to protect Earth, and on top of that, protect a race of beings that she didn't even know before that day, you know. Yeah. Well, she didn't know emotionally until that day, and she was like, I'm giving my life, this time of my life, for you. The other might be completely different, but imagine how it would be if you're a girl, right? Boiling us down to just animals, right? Kind of how, here's the connective tissue of my thoughts. I was thinking about Scarlett Johansson's character when she told Hulk the last thing we had to do in order to pass the test or become spies was we had to get, I forgot what the surgery is called, but so you don't have babies anymore. And it's like, that is very impacting on someone. Sterile. Yeah, becoming sterile. And then for her, I was thinking, whoa, how would it be if she were to have kids? You know, like, I don't think she would ever get to that moment. And for me, that's what I connected with the most, because I'm a woman. And I'll think how you would be so focused on bigger things that you push your primal instincts down. But what if in the future you do want to have kids? Yeah. Like, that's a huge sacrifice. To never have a relationship, you know, like settle down, you know, and all that stuff. That's what I was thinking about, was more of the more personal sacrifice to herself, giving up a normal life. Yeah. And then you also have to think how much of that was actually her choice too. You know, like, was she kind of brainwashed? You know, like, was she in too deep? I don't know. But that scene was very powerful too, because she's sterile, but the idea of it is what hurts her the most. It's because she probably wouldn't ever want to have kids, but she's linked the idea of her being sterile as to, I cannot form a long-term relationship with anyone. Obviously, so many years of training. Oh, yes. Backstabbing, being a double spy, being a secret spy. Like she said, she's backstabbed multiple people, and she's never been on a side, you know? And that's very interesting. Black Widow is one of my favorite characters. Oh, yeah, she's really cool. Yeah. But back to Captain... Marvel. She's so awesome. So wait, is it pronounced Marvel? Well, that's not her name, though. That was the other lady's name was Marvel. Well, I do really, like, I don't know, I'm just so excited to see her character interact with other characters. Like, I wasn't excited for Doctor Strange or any of those guys just because I didn't really care about them. But, like, how we're, like, the fact that we can have a deep conversation about her character, I want to see her morals pushed. I want to see her ethics pushed. I want to see her personality pushed. Like, imagine Thanos, you know? Oh my god. Anyways, back to this movie. I need to control myself. Can we talk about whenever she was trying to load up something on the computer, it took like a whole minute? Oh, that when they're trying to upload the black box recorder? Yeah. Oh my god. And the audio was not even that long. It was like a minute. Yeah. And it took like 2 minutes. Yeah. I didn't know things were that slow back then. Really? Yeah. Oh my god. Well, I didn't use a computer until I was very old. And even then it was already like laptop. I remember when it was that slow. On AOL
It's the earliest thing I remember.
Really?
Yeah, it would be like maybe 2 minutes. You'd hear them, and then hello, hello, and then Gustavo would get pissed. Why are you trying to connect to the internet? I'm on the fucking phone right now, because it would like go through the phone line or some shit. I don't know. Very stressful times.
It's like I'm trying to download some
music. Yeah, it would take like. I remember one time I was trying to download music or something, and it took like hours to download maybe 15 songs. It was stupid.
Or if you just download the wrong song.
Yeah.
It's like, really?
But I love how that scene was shot, edited. I love their reactions. It was so perfect. Just
it's all in the eyes.
Yeah, just showed the like bar, cut to Carol, like just staring, like not really understanding what's happening, kind of looking around. Samuel Jackson's or Nick or Fury, he's the only one that knows, and he's just probably thinking about the cat. Like, I wonder, like, have we fed her? You know, like just thinking about anything, and then all the other people are just standing there awkwardly. It just is so cool because
they're broken.
Yeah, like no one understands what's happening, and he's not saying anything.
Yeah.
And I just love.
Till the end, he's like, "Oh, it's loading."
And then I love how after he says it's loading, it cuts back and it's like 80%, and then it cuts really quickly to one of the green guys. For a second, he's like in fear, and then it cuts back and finishes the download. It's like, this is what y'all have to go through every day. We have hologram devices, bro. Oh no,
you guys have a Radio Shack. What the fuck is a Radio Shack? No, like for real, what is Radio Shack?
You don't know what a Radio Shack is?
No.
They sold like electronics, phones, cell phones, radio stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
And it was profitable?
Oh, they were very popular, but I think they're bankrupt now. I think they're dead now.
I've never been to a Radio Shack.
It was like a mini Best Buy, but only with electronics. Electronic stuff. It was very specific electronic stuff. But yeah, they were everywhere. Like every corner had a Radio Shack.
What year was this?
1990s.
1990s?
Yeah. I was expecting more music, like from that time period. There was a couple songs, but I didn't like them that much.
Well, you heard Samuel Jackson singing some crazy song about bubbles and shit.
Oh, yeah.
Or what was it?
I don't remember. I just know he actually sung pretty good.
Yeah. It probably had like choreography, and he was trying to dance like the people in the video.
Yeah. That was a really cool part.
Oh, the other song was when she went into the AI's world, and then there was like what is those big discs called?
Oh, vinyl, yeah.
Vinyls.
That was Nirvana. That was a good song. But
did you notice she was wearing a 9 Inch Nails shirt?
Yep. I was gonna bring that up.
And what's the other one? She's wearing a different band shirt.
Oh, one picture she was wearing Guns N' Roses, and then another one said Heart, but I don't know if that's a band or not. Oh. But yeah, she was wearing a 9 Inch Nails shirt for approximately 68% of the film.
Oh yeah. As soon as I saw the NIN, I was like, 9. Whoa, 9 Inch Nails.
Yeah.
And I looked towards you, but then you were so invested in the movie. I was just like, nah.
Oh,
I'll tell him afterwards. He's probably already noticed.
Yeah. No, I knew from the trailer.
Oh.
That's why I was like, when are they gonna play a 9 Inch Nails song? Like, what the fuck? That actually got me kind of crunchy. If they would have played a 9 Inch Nails song, oh my goodness gracious. But it's really cool because on Trent Reznor's Facebook, he posted that they have a 9 Inch Nails shirt, like the one she had with the Nin and the square logo, and then they have her logo over it, and it's like a collab t-shirt.
Whoa.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I need to buy this right now. But it's like $25. Damn it.
It's like a whole 2 days worth of food.
It made me realize from now on, every movie I make, there's gonna be a 9 Inch Nails shirt being worn.
Really?
And it made me realize that I'm gonna burn all my shirts, and I'm only gonna be wearing 9 Inch Nails shirts for the rest of my life.
What?
Yeah.
Even the shirt I bought you?
Okay, besides that one, I'm just gonna put a 9 Inch Nails patch on it.
Oh, okay. customize.
I love his logo. It's so simple.
Oh, you were talking about the music.
Oh yeah.
So what did you really feel about the music that was played? At least the moments that I noticed it the most were the emotional scenes.
Oh, the score.
Exaggerated. I mean, not exaggerated. The fighting scenes and when they were trying to tell a joke.
There was music when they told jokes?
Yeah.
Oh.
Before or after,
It'd be like,
it was like obvious.
Yeah.
Like they were pushing music to put the mood to get to the joke.
I didn't notice a lot of the score just because it sounded kind of generic to me. It sounded like almost every other Marvel movie. But there was some parts that sounded really interesting, like some like but it was usually very small moments of transitions. But again, I don't understand. I just wish, this is in my film Bible, that every film deserves a theme, Like the Avengers have a theme now, I can't do it. But you know what it is. And I don't know, I really think every film, and especially when it's a character, like Wonder Woman has her theme. I think I brought this up in Alita. I don't know, I just would have loved for Captain Marvel to have a little theme that would have played every time you see her fall, or every time she fails,
Like an intro to her.
Yeah.
Well, doesn't Spider-Man have an intro?
Yeah. And I think she would have, that would have helped. But honestly, I can't really talk too much about the score because I don't remember a lot of it. I do remember a lot of parts that I was like, oh man, this is so typical. And it didn't really add anything to me. And then the song selections that they picked, I didn't recognize any of the bands, and none of them sounded very interesting to me.
Yeah.
One song that I do remember very vividly because I did not like the action scene at all was the big fight scene where she had the lunchbox. That was one of the worst shot fight scenes I've seen. And it was so weird because I was excited and disappointed at the same time. I was excited because she's fighting, and just seeing her fight is cool. Yeah. Like, just her being in a fight, period, gets me hype. But then the way it was shot was so confusing, so disappointing. It didn't make any sense how they
might not want to have shots showing a guy hit a girl. Because I would notice that every time he would supposedly punch her in the face, you'd never see it. It would just cut to her kind of like falling to the side. Or anyone else hitting her in a part where it would be like, oh, that's too much, bro, It would just cut to her like fighting back or doing like a defense move or afterwards. Or directly afterwards, but never the actual impact of the face punch or gut shot or boob punch.
That's just fear. I don't know. I don't take that as an excuse to not show. There's so many movies that I can think of where there's a man-on-woman fight, and it's visceral, and I don't ever think like that because they're fighting,
Yeah.
And especially when it's her, she will overcome anything.
Yeah.
But I mean, I do get what you're saying.
Well, I'm not saying that's something I would do. I would show it definitely.
Yeah. I think if you do it in a wide shot, I feel like you could tone it down to where it doesn't feel like you're just beating her up or whatever, like men beating her up, and you could make it work better. Just the way it is just horrible. I don't know. It's just horrible. Whatever, like, I wish they would have, because that fight scene was such a cool idea. She has a lunchbox, so one hand is occupied, and then you have, it didn't make any sense because one person has a sniper and shoots her once, and then one dude has like double swords that look dope. Another dude has like double, I don't know, arm swords. Other dude has like a propulsion thing, and there was another guy. It's just that whole fight scene. Like, I'm trying to think exactly what happened, and I don't remember it. It was just, she broke a bridge, she got shot, lunchbox broke, she punched some people, she got thrown into a thing, someone threw something on her. It didn't make any sense how that fight worked. And I never remember seeing like a big shot of them going in, or like, I don't know, that would have,
of the location.
Yeah, because that seemed like the big action scene, and they even put some like cool rock song, something about like girls, like I just want to be a girl or something, some girl song. And I was like, dude, that's dope. Like, that would have been perfect.
I would have played this song that is played in Shrek 1. He's fighting in Lord Farquaad's arena, and then in the song it's like, I don't give a damn about my reputation.
Oh, yeah.
Education. I would put that song in this movie so quick, and it would have fit.
And the other thing that, like, so she has a lunchbox. I mean, we've seen this in many movies before. Someone has an object.
Yes.
5 people want this object. Like, imagine the dynamic of that lunchbox sliding, one guy grabbing it, someone like clocking her, and then she like spinning out. You know, like
they pull out their yesto.
I would have. Oh my god, I would have had so much. Like my mind is just spinning at the thoughts that you could have had that whole scene, and it'd be you holding your breath the whole scene, and then it's over, and you're like, oh. And then having it ended in a good way with the handle just breaking.
I think I know what it is.
What?
You remember how you learned, I think it was recently, that there's a way that that How to Train Your Dragon was shot, like, should I say it? How when Hiccup almost died and you literally saw the evil guy rip finally the wings off to get rid of the final thought of what if he could escape with his wings, you know? Like there wasn't a single time in that specific fight scene where she was put into a corner like that. Where it was one split second that just saved her of her, I don't know, her moves or whatever. She was never backed into a corner.
Yeah.
So it did seem like very airy and fluffy. And also they tried to put a lot of, I don't want to say unrealistic, but just unnecessary throwings of the bodies around.
Yeah, just
and blasts that didn't make sense, because if she were to blast that hard, the ship would have been wrecked.
Exactly.
So wouldn't you kind of try to minimize that? And even though she's not really good at hand-to-hand combat, I think at one point she did hit someone's gun away or someone's weapon away. Wouldn't it be cool to see her actually try, you know, like do more of her moves, you know, on them, like a kick or some badass stuff?
Yeah. So yeah, that's why I'm like, my mind is spinning, because she creates energy, right? Imagine her just blasting once, show the ship cracking, and then everyone smiling. You can't just blast this away. And they all have weapons, but her weapons are her fists, right? And I don't know, I just imagine like her blasting a little bit, and just like making her punches way more powerful, or her, you know, like
I saw her propelling herself with the force, kind of like if she had jetpacks at the end of her fists, and she's like power punching into them, or like picking them up and power punching them down to the floor. I don't know.
And that would have been, I would have used that moment as her finally being able to fight with her powers in a non-blasting way. And I just imagine her
getting the control over
them. Like I imagine her trying to do like a punch spin, slipping, falling to the ground. Someone slices, and luckily it misses her. She uses, and then he's about to slice down, she uses her legs, slams into another dude on accident, and then another dude's about to hit her with a hammer looking thing or whatever, and then she holds it, some other dude's coming, and then maybe she propulses down. You know, like you could do so much cool slippery, and she's smaller than everyone, so like use her size. Like if you look at any of the fight scenes in other Marvel movies with Black Widow, she uses her size against, she's like that dude, the MMA guy that just fucking turns into an anaconda. Like, you think you're gonna punch her, and then she breaks your arm. And I would have loved for her to show that in a very scrappy kind of way. Also, I think the reason why Black Widow's action scenes work is because you see them punch her. And you see her progressively get into worse and worse situations. She's already tied up, but for some reason she ends up doing some obvious like smart stuff, like she breaks out or something, and she uses the items around her, like she uses the chair
to hurt someone.
Yeah.
And then they grab her, and then she's still trying to wiggle out, and then she grabs something else and then uses that against, and then they slap the hair mess out of her. And then, well, you just said that she uses her body, her flexibility, and her little strength, and I don't know, the momentum of her body just moving up.
Oh,
and
yeah.
to push people back, push them forward, and makes it really awesome because you see everything.
Yeah, and she uses the weight of her opponents against them.
Yeah.
And so, like, you have that. She's one example, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I imagine Captain Marvel being the exact opposite of her. She's super slick with her fight, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Captain Marvel would just be brute force because that's the personality she has.
Mm-hmm.
She just fucking goes for anything. And that's why I'm saying that fight scene would have been so perfect because she's so used to, like, her instinct is to blast everything to death or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So her having to try to coordinate her powers, oh my god, that'd be so fucking exciting. Just seeing her, you know, punch so hard that she can't control it, and like if she misses, she just like fucking loses balance of her weight, stuff like that. I don't know. And then it would have been a cool dynamic of the guy mocking her still, or like the team mocking her, and then her using that frustration, you know. I don't know. That could have been one of the best fight scenes of all Marvel movies. I think about the fight scene in The Last Jedi, where it's Rey and the other and Kylo Ren. You remember, and they're in the red room with the red soldiers, and how Rey fights in that scene is very uncoordinated, and then Kylo is very smooth or whatever, and then the knights are super precise. And just seeing the 3 levels of knowledge that's just so exciting. Seeing that and seeing the fight coordinators manage that, and I would have loved to see her. So I'm saying it over and over again because I'm just too excited about it, and because I never felt like those dudes were super strong warriors or whatever. Like it was just cheesy as hell. I didn't get any true sense that they were amazing operatives.
Yeah.
Plus, one thing that doesn't make sense. Why would the AI let her go to Earth?
What do you mean?
Yeah, like if it knew she was from Earth, wouldn't you be like, hey, she's not allowed to go to Earth, period.
I don't know.
But, yeah, they did tell her not to go anywhere until they got there, so never mind. But yeah. God, man, alright, so final thing I'm gonna say about the action.
Wait, can I add something also about the action?
Yeah.
Here's why I'm looking forward to her sequence with Thanos.
Oh my
because
god, that's what I was about
her
to say.
weakness is always emotion. His strength is fucking people over emotionally. Just look at how Star-Lord was emotionally distressed by him because he killed whatever. So I just imagine how those 2 elements are gonna work when she's very emotional. It hasn't been resolved to where you see her unemotionally fighting. So that's what I was gonna say. I'm really curious as to how he's gonna try to mess her up in that way.
That is one fascinating point. The thing I'm most excited about, because I know these guys, these dudes. I don't know what Marvel's gonna do when they don't have these guys directing, because I think this is gonna be the last one they do for them, and then it's all downhill from there. I'm not watching any other Marvel movies.
You lie.
But I am so excited to see how they use her powers in a fight scene, because how they use Black Panther in Civil War, oh, my heart flutters when I think about it.
Because he actually fought like a panther?
Yes, his whole body, like, I just love how they go so hard, and to where it almost looks comical and fake, but they just run with it, and it's so beautiful, and I love how they use every character's personality is how they fight.
Yeah.
Like, if you remember the Civil War scene, the people who are, like, when Spider-Man's fighting, he doesn't think ahead. He's just going. He's just freestyling.
He's having so much fun.
Yeah, and he's having a blast, and nothing's too serious. But anyways, the point is, I know her character is this brute force, gung-ho person. Like, that is her core essence.
Oh, I was gonna say, what does gung-ho mean, but...
Like, we're gonna do it.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
we're going in. Like, every choice she made in the movie was, I don't really know how to do this, but I trust myself to figure it out.
Okay.
You know?
Keep going. Sorry.
And I can't wait to see her powers with that mindset and executed beautifully by these action lords. And hopefully they do a fight scene that I'm imagining.
What did you think about her backstory?
Oh, her backstory was very cool. It wasn't. I thought. I don't know why, because I saw the trailer, but I was not. I didn't know she wasn't not human. I mean, that she was human. I thought she wasn't human the whole time. So that was actually a twist to me.
Oh.
I was like, oh, she's human. Because it's interesting. In all the trailers, she has blue blood. And then in this, when it plays her memories back, every time you see the memory until she sees the real memory on Earth through the recorder, she had blue blood when she landed the spaceship and when she's standing there. So they twisted her memory.
Yeah.
So I fell for it. So I was like, I didn't know she was human until that moment, and I was like, oh fuck, she's human.
For sure.
And then I was like, wait, how did she get her powers? And then it's like, pfft. And I was like, oh yeah, that makes so much sense, because duh.
Yeah, I like how they hit it so well with the details.
And I love how that explosion looked. It looked like her powers.
Yeah.
And then
I like how it started with the explosion. You saw the sand falling.
Yeah.
Or rising. I don't know, but it looked really cool. It's like they're telling you this was the turning point. Basically, the start of her new life.
Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
And so out of all the origin story movies, like the first movie, if I had to rank them, it'd be Iron Man 1, Cap 1, and then this one. This would be my third favorite. Just how they handled the backstory was so cool. Like, just how it was shot, how they added it in, and it's so refreshing because they've already done so many introductions. I can tell they were like, we need to do it different. And they actually said, all right, how do we do memory flashbacks in a way that's different? And I love the first time we see flashbacks, you hear some dudes talking, and I'm like, what the hell is happening in this movie right now? It's like, oh wait, rewind that. Like, what are we watching here? Yeah. And it's like, we need her to focus on the name tag there, and then it was replaying the memory, and they were twisting the memory. Yeah. And that is such a cool visual. I was like, God, I would have loved to watch a whole movie. And oh shit, I came up with a story idea.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
I love their jackets.
The Air Force jackets?
The leather jackets.
Oh, yeah. Those are so nice.
Has nothing to do with what you're saying. But I just wanted to say it before I forgot.
They're nice. They're tight. They fit your form. They make you look like a boss. I love how they're kind of like high-rise, too. So when you put your arms in, you automatically do this.
Bomber jackets.
Yeah. You just look fucking dope. So not only did they do that memory part right, but I love the part where she enters the bar and it does a camera swerve from like right side to left side, and you just see little shadows of her, like transparent moments that she spent there. I love all the pictures instead of like showing, like, I love that whole scene where it's on the table, you see all the pictures. That fills in so much, and I was like, wow, that's so smart. Like, you'd think you'd have to show like a couple seconds of each picture, but just having the full display, having the little girl, like her excitement and stuff. All the backstory was so effective, and it felt very fresh. And then it worked, especially when most stories where someone lost their memory and then it's like, who am I? They get very cheesy, but the way this film tackled it, I haven't seen before. Like, they hit it up front. They told, like, it was obvious they were going to explain it in this style with that opening memory shot. Yeah. And it was so, I love that. I just wish they would have done another shit review.
Do you like the costumes?
They're okay. I didn't like her costume until it changed colors when it changed to the red, gold, and blue. Then I was like, wow, just the color change made it look beautiful. Yeah. But the whole green, it looked like a splodge of ugliness. But it makes sense because they're not good. And I was like, she just doesn't look like a good person. She looks like an evil Power Ranger.
Aww.
And then I was like, that kind of fits.
Yeah. Like a goblin.
Yeah. What did you think about the costumes?
I love her costume. Love.
I really loved the humor of the movie. Like, it took me a minute to get into it. I didn't laugh as much as maybe the movie wanted me to, because a lot of the funny parts didn't land with me. But the parts that did land with me were all the parts with the green dudes. Like, as soon as he's in the house, and it's so awkward. And I'm just like, this guy's not a bad guy. And he's like, the way they're communicating.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just love all that. And then, I don't know, it was just so cool. I don't know how they delivered it, because it doesn't, like, it shouldn't have worked. Because leading up to that moment, people have died.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how am I okay with this? But they're just, like, having a great time. It's like my scientific researcher or whatever, my science expert.
My science guy. It's like really just means orbit.
I don't know.
He looks so disappointed at his bro. Like, what do I pay you for? You're just sucking up extra air in my life right now.
Yeah. Oh man, there was another part that was really funny.
I think for me, the reason why it was funny, actually funny, they didn't use references.
Yeah.
It was all in the movie. And it was all, I mean, not all in the movie, but it was all actual things happening in the movie. And it was all in the eyeballs and the eyebrows. I've never seen a movie do that. Usually it's like unrealistic faces that they would make, like shock, and then you're like, oh shit, what happened? Oh, ha 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 ha, he fell, you know. But it was actual realistic things that worked on confusion. So they used things that no one but one person knew, and that was funny because that's how things really were back then.
Yeah.
So it's just dropping super high-tech people into a what seemed like the Stone Age to them, and they're just experiencing it. So it's like, whoa. I don't know, and just the fact that Fury doesn't know that the cat is a fucking monster, and he's trying to defend himself, like, no, it's just a kitty, it's just a kitty, I'm petting it, I'm giving it love, and then it turns out to be really dangerous.
Oh my god.
That was so amazing.
Yeah. Even the part where that neighbor comes up and he's like, I see you got a new bird parked or whatever, southern stuff, and then she's just like I'm gonna beat your ass. I know who you are.
Really, bird?
Who talks like that? Like, that was her.
You're really selling it right now, which is what I was saying. Like, they're literally dropped into a whole different world that they don't know yet.
And I just love how the other part that really made me laugh was her friend was like, I'm gonna shove my leg so far up your whatever. Like, she didn't say where, and then he was like, wait, am I supposed to guess like where that is? And then just like, your ass or whatever. And then he paused and he was like, what's my ass? And then I was like, do they even have buttholes?
Oh yeah.
It's like, what do they have or whatever? Because there was that one scene where Fury lifted the blanket or whatever, and he's
they're looking at their junk.
Yeah.
All right, from their facial expressions, do you think they have big junk or little junk or no junk?
I don't know what they have. Probably something abnormal. Abnormal as in it probably doesn't look like junk.
Oh.
It probably looks like maybe like 5 tentacles.
Oh, that's too much. Okay. Let's move on.
Like something, because they were like, what the fuck? Like, it looked like something that was neither, and it was a mixture of something, probably.
Here's my thought.
That it was big.
I thought that guy who died had a big one. Why? Because Fury reacted weird, but the other guy reacted weird. He was also an alien. So imagine you have a homie, right? And then obviously you know you're drunk because you pee every day. and then your homie's dead, and for some reason a strange guy decides to look, and you're like, whoa, what the fuck? Like,
it's like, damn, what a loss.
Yeah,
My dude was
it kind of seemed like that. That's why I was asking, do you think he, what do you think it was?
Yeah,
because they both reacted at the same time.
Well, yeah, you have a point.
It's like, whoa. Equally surprised on both ends.
I love their makeup. I feel like some of the Marvel movies, I haven't enjoyed their makeup, but the way how they looked as their natural selves looked really good. I love how, obviously because he has prosthetic on his lips, but I love how he almost
move? Like he could move his lips?
Yeah, but he moved them in a way that wasn't human. You know what I'm talking about? It looked like he had his lips crunched up like this.
And he was like talking like this.
I don't know, maybe that's because he had so much plastic on him, or if that was a choice, but it looked like a choice because you could tell that they didn't apply too much stuff around his lips, and they just had the chin thing, and then the growth over here.
Yeah. I thought it was so amazing when I realized that none of them had hair, even the girls.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, you rock it. Rock it till the day you fucking die. Their heads look so smooth.
Yep.
And I don't know, I just feel like, why would you even need hair? That's just so, like, cosmetic, you know?
Such a human waste.
Oh.
Oh.
I don't know.
Oh, I thought the other thing that was, so along with the cat thing being kind of gross, the way they would transform looks so gross, but I liked it. It kind of looked like
well, I don't know if you watched the Twilight series, but when you saw Jacob or any of the people from his pack turn into wolves, it would kind of look painful. Like their bones cracked, their skin became bubbly, their hair grew, their noses looked like they were having a heart attack. Yeah. But this one, it was like overgrowth of skin that eventually flapped together, bonded, and then pushed back in.
Yeah, it was like a crunching.
Yeah.
And I loved how they pick people that weren't their body shapes. So like they picked girls in the beginning, and that was such a perfect show of that because it was just like.
I like how it was a girl, but he kept his regular male voice.
Oh,
he's like, go look for them right now. And he's like, what? That did not sound anything like it. Even at the last moment, he was like, this body is taken. And you saw that they both chose the same girl, whatever.
I love that because they didn't hear the voices, and they hadn't heard a female human voice, so they didn't really know what they sounded like.
Yeah.
So
I thought the one alien's choice of having a surfer dude made him camouflage way better because everyone was like, oh, he looks like a decent guy, you know, like he's not gonna do anything. Even though he was running, it didn't seem like he was running away from anything. Yeah. So that was perfect camouflage for that man. But he fucked up. As soon as I saw him hit the old lady and he made eye contact, I was like, please don't turn into this old lady because she's gonna run into this old lady too. And you're going to get caught.
Yeah, she's too distinct.
Exactly. And then the fact that he made eye contact with Captain Marvel as he was already turned into the old lady and smiled.
No one else smiled at her.
Exactly. So it's like you're giving your position away so easily. I love the reaction of the people in the
train.
Is it a train?
Yeah.
In the train where Captain Marvel just punches the shit out of the lady, and it was like, whoa, let me record this. Well, no one pulled their phones out, but everyone was still trying to restrain her because she was beating up an old lady. Yes. Even though they saw the old lady get on the bar, flip around and kick her with both, like, obviously an old lady would not have the endurance to pick her body up like that. Yeah. Or the strength. But it was pretty cool how everyone's trying to defend the old lady.
Yeah, and that's such a real thing.
Yeah.
Like, if anyone saw some person just beating up an old lady, you'd be like, yo.
Yeah, you've definitely crossed the line, ma'am.
That scene was so cool. And again, I just want to say I wish they would have shot that scene wider, because I also, in that scene, I didn't really understand the composition of how many people were restraining her. Like, I would have loved just a big wide shot, maybe like from the side, of her being held back and the old lady, like, maybe kind of acting like, oh man, I'm so hurt or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, still trying to run with it.
Yeah.
But that was such a cool concept.
Did that specific alien die?
I don't know.
I think he got squished by the rock because the train was going into a tunnel. I don't know.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember. I think he might have escaped.
Yeah.
I don't know. The creepiest part for me, it felt like an actual scary movie, was when the little girl was with her mom, but her mom was in the house.
Oh yeah, that looked creepy.
Yeah, especially how the alien turned around. It looked like he knew he was going to have people looking at him at that moment. Like, I got you, bitch. You know.
We playing Pokemon.
Yeah, that was actually scary.
Oh, one last funny part I want to bring up was how they're in the spaceship, and then they're just asking him questions about how he transforms. I forgot who it was, but someone was like, so can you turn into a filing cabinet? It was just so, I don't know, the actor's, his delivery is so perfect for humor.
What's the Fury?
Yeah.
I love how he's like, I'll give you $50 right now if you turn into a Venus flytrap. He's like, the other guy's like, what the fuck is a Venus flytrap?
It's funny because they kind of look like him.
Yeah.
Because they're like green and like weird looking.
I never thought of how he would look if he went into an inanimate object.
Yeah, it is a very interesting question. Can they? Like, could...
But why would he, though?
That's the perfect disguise.
What do you mean? What if someone
cabinet
punches you?
You would be a filing cabinet in the corner that no one uses.
Okay. Here's what I think it might be the problem, is because they don't just take the form, but also the DNA. So if they turn into a filing cabinet, they're gonna be dead.
Yeah. Insta-death. I think they have to turn into organic things.
I mean, a Venus flytrap is pretty cool.
Oh, and he also said if he could turn into a cat.
Oh, yeah. He's like, I'll never, ever want to be one of those. Something like that. I love how they did, like, that one shot that they did in Greta. Well, Greta was outside, and it was like, chun chun. That moment that you're talking about across the street. Well, whatever. That moment, when in this, they showed it while they were going through the filing cabinets, and they were shuffling through them, and they just went like a side shot, and the cat was there.
Yeah.
You're like, Ginger. It's like, oh shit, how did he get here? He's magic.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I feel like that lady must have had that cat as a protector, like kind of protecting around.
Vicious.
Yeah, she must have got it from some planet.
What do you think it ate? I don't know. It reminds me of that little Futurama pet.
Yeah.
When it like poops out some like super expensive shits. What does this cat poop out?
Oh my gosh. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Did you notice the de-aging that they did on Samuel L. Jackson?
He looks the same.
No, they digitally made him younger.
Really?
Yeah. His whole face was CGI.
Really?
Like, it was him performing. They just added a layer over him to make him appear younger.
Nuh-uh.
Yes.
He looked good.
That's what I was like hardcore squinting. Like, there is gonna be an like, it didn't even look, you know how when something looks too real, it's called uncanny valley, where it looks creepy. I don't know what they did this time, but
I think it's their shadows.
Well, I think...
and the depth of his face.
I think just the way they captured his skin texture. I think maybe because, like how you're saying, he doesn't look that old. So they could just use different parts of his actual skin and just
smooth it a little bit.
Yeah.
Like a stamp.
Yeah.
Copy paste.
Because he looked good. Every single scene, I was like trying so hard to see an imperfection. And there were scenes where he was dark, his skin was constantly lit the same light, and when he was sweating, and I was just like, damn, this looks so fucking good. They've mastered it. Like, you remember in one of the, I think it's the Spider-Man movie or the Iron Man movie, in one of them he looks really young. Yes. I think it was Civil War, and it still looked kind of wonky. Now they perfected it.
Yes.
Wow.
Well, didn't they use similar technology with Alita?
Yeah.
Like her skin texture looked actually alive.
Well, Alita has a different studio. Well, I don't know. They might be the same team. I forgot. But the point is, it's kind of creepy though.
Creepy?
Because the possibility is this. Let's say, let me think of a dead actor.
Oh, they're already doing that.
Yeah, I know, but now that it looks so good, it starts to become
like they're doing that so often that right now people are fighting to make certain clauses in their contracts, like actors
to not use their
likeliness in the future. Like however many years in the future they cannot use it. It's their property.
Yeah. I'm sure all the Marvel guys have not to use my likeliness, but that we can, because they're gonna be making movies longer than we're even alive. And I guarantee you 20 years from now they're gonna have a throwback scene with Tony Stark or whatever, and you're gonna see him how he is today.
That's really creepy though, just thinking how us in the future, we're still gonna be alive and they will die because we're like 10 years apart than all of those people.
It is weird. I mean, I like it because it's still performance. So for Samuel Jackson, he was acting the whole film. They just added a digital layer of makeup, basically. And I love that because you're still letting him perform. But like what we're talking about is they're dead and you still use them. That's where it becomes very disgusting and weird and creepy and immoral to me. Like, they kind of did it with Paul Walker in not the last, but the Fast and Furious where he died, or the one that they were making while he died. They got his brother and they put his face over it, and it did not look good. And then it was just that weird feeling, like I'm staring at a dead person.
Yeah.
And I mean, I feel like they kind of had to finish the movie or whatever, and I think they did do it in a tasteful way because they wanted to have his character leave the story, and it was a touching moment or whatever. But I don't know if this is happening, but this would be the biggest one. Movie gets announced. It's a remake of an old movie, right?
Oh no.
The star is...
Don't say that.
What?
Mrs. Doubtfire?
No, what?
Oh, fuck.
No, what's
his name?
Oh, you're talking about Robin Williams.
If they brought back Robin Williams in a CGI, oh my god, my heart would break. I would cry. I would sue for emotional I'm just kidding.
Here's who I was thinking. I'm thinking like it would be a big deal and negative, very negative. Like I feel like there would be a super outlash.
R. Kelly.
Marilyn Monroe. Because she is like one of the first big superstar actresses and stuff. Like, I don't know, just imagine how big of a news that would be. Movie, Marilyn Monroe. That would be insane. I feel like that would be the biggest dead actor, actress that you could bring back to life. And it would be fucking insane. Yeah. The response and stuff, but...
I think a lot of people would be outraged.
Yeah.
Oh.
But
well, here's why I would be outraged. It's more because I'm not close to the whole history of Marilyn Monroe or whatever. I see she's iconic or whatever, but imagine X, right? He recently died, and then you bring him back and you have him do stuff he couldn't say yes or no to.
Yeah.
That's where I think it's fucked up. You're creating history for him, but not by him.
Mm-hmm.
So you could just do whatever with his body to make more money. That's what I think is fucked up.
Yeah, I agree. And that's what I'm saying. That's exactly, yeah. But I know it's gonna happen. I'm just curious to see who's gonna be the one who's gonna be the one they bring back and how crazy the outlash is gonna be. But
who else do you think would be iconic?
Oh, like to bring back? Elvis.
Elvis.
Oh, I saw. Okay, it's not funny, but it is regarding Avengers. So I saw this meme.
Oh,
right,
shit.
It's a meme. This is not me. I'm just saying it made me laugh. It's bad. I have a dark sense of humor, but it was a headline saying old racist tweets uncovered from Thanos, forcing him to undo his snap.
Oh, the finger snap. Oh, that's that's witty.
Yeah. And I was like, oh my god, it's like, of course Thanos would be like that. Like, just the fact, I was just imagining Thanos have a Twitter and him being like, fuck half the population and all this shit. It's like, dude, you were such not only a racist to every single species in the world, to every race, and you're just a nihilist, or I don't know what the word is. But I don't know, I thought that was funny. It's not.
I think it's not like
that dark.
Like you could literally say, old naked pics of Thanos leaked, forces him to delete his snap. Yeah, I was like, that would remove like the dark side.
But anyways, back to Captain Marvel. Was there
like old Thanos relationship leaked?
Oh yeah.
Ex-wife. I mean old Bema Mama released 7th this week.
Yeah. Old Thanos diss track.
Aww.
Old Thanos Drake diss track. Do you have any other parts you want to talk about for the spoilers?
No, that's it.
Yeah, I feel like we've kind of wrapped it all up. I just want to end the spoiler discussion with, I'm so excited for Avengers Endgame. I don't think I will ever be this excited for a movie in my life. I'm so ready for it. I'm just, damn, I thought this movie was gonna get me less excited.
I thought you were gonna say lit.
But I am over the moon, right? Like, fuck. This movie was basically a trailer for Endgame. Just a new character. This wasn't even her moment to shine. This movie was, I know what these other directors are capable of, and the fact that it's like they've already planted the seed. No one could defeat Thanos, and then you make this new movie with a new character who's super powerful and interesting. You're just teasing. You know, you're setting up this chess game, and we're like just watching, right? And it's like queen against king. Ultimate moment. Oh my god, it's just such like, oh my god, I'm so excited.
And then the queen comes up and destroys the whole playing board, and you're like, what?
Oh man, I'm gonna be so sad. It's gonna be so weird. I feel like if there's ever a movie where I feel like I'm not gonna be able to sit still in that movie theater. As soon as that Marvel logo starts, I'm gonna be, there's my life before Endgame, and then there's gonna be my life after Endgame.
BNG. ANG.
I think I'm too hyped for it, to be honest, but I just...
Wait, what is it? It's like that, right? BC and AC?
Yeah. Before Endgame.
BNG ANG.
But yeah, that's all I gotta say.
Cut.
We're getting tired. As you can tell, we watched the movie super late. We drinking coffee. I gotta pee. I think that's a wrap for our spoilers.
Yep.
Hopefully y'all had a good time. We got distracted a couple times talking about who know what. But you know, it's what we do, Cineverm style. Hope you all have a good week. Go watch this movie.
Yes.
Go rewatch Infinity War. Get ready for Endgame.
Yes.
Shit's gonna hit the fan. I'm ready. You're ready. We're all ready. Yeah, I think that's all I gotta say. Oh, email us at cineverm@yahoo.com. Tell us your stuff. And I think that's it. Have a great day.
Yes.
Hey guys, so we realized we forgot to give our ratings and the spoilers, so here's our quick rating. Che, what would you rate this movie out of 10?
7 out of 10.
Dope. Give me a quick hit list of good, bad, bad. Good. Name one good thing.
Well, the way I see it is that nothing was more extraordinary, and nothing was really bad. So it's like in the middle. That's why it's not a 5 out of 10, which to me is a balanced movie, but it was a little bit better than that, so it was a 7 out of 10.
Okay. Well, for me, it was an 8 out of 10. It probably deserves to be a 7 out of 10 with yours or whatever. Or you said 7 or 6?
I said 6 first, but then I bumped it up to the 7 because, I don't know.
What was it, a 6 in the review?
No, it was a 7.
Oh. I'm gonna give you the bullet list. Good. The characters. Good. The dialogue. Good. The humor. Good. The story. Bad. All the action. Bad. All the action. Very disappointing use of powers. But I give it an 8 out of 10. I think I already said that. I still think it's a great movie. Even though the negatives are very powerful, I feel like if I rewatch this movie, it would either stay the same or go down very drastically. But the movie has gotten me so excited for Avengers Endgame that I'm going to go ahead and give it a 10 out of 10. So yeah, be looking forward to that. Have a great day.